points and the points carryover from the first night's racing for a total of 40 heats. In heat 21 we have the meeting leader Vladimir Zhukov riding in yellow, 15-point maximum from the first night's racing. The other riders in this, on the inside in red, Hannu Laronmaa from Finland, he's got 7. Gate 2 in blue, Johan Last from the Netherlands, he has got 4. Gate 3 in white, Paul Evitts from Great Britain, he's got 2. And Gate 4, Vladimir Zhukov. Moving into the tapes there by Johan Last. Well, the starting marshal's going to have to move Last back there. It's a clear start, Zhukov lifting the wheel as he comes out. Paul Evitts gaining well for third place as it is going into the turn. Laronmaa has second, but Evitts loses out in the back straight now to Johan Last. Well, vital here for Hannu Laronmaa to get that second place. Battling it out with Gerrit Rock for the 6th qualifying position. Would be quite a turn-up if Laronmaa made the world final. Zhukov well clear, something like 30 yards ahead now of Hannu Laronmaa, maybe even more. Third place is Johan Last. At the back, Paul Evitts. Paul's borrowed a tyre from the Swedes to try and improve his cornering after problems last night, but doesn't seem to have done much. British team really getting caught out by the lack of experience and practice here. Battle hard against all the odds. Not one outdoor ice track in Britain. The winner of Heat 21 then, Vladimir Zhukov. Second, Hannu Laronmaa. Third place goes to Johan Last, and fourth to Paul Evitts. Well, Zhukov's win brings his tally of heat wins to 6 now, total of 18 points. Hannu Laronmaa now moves on to 9 points. Johan Last moves on to 5, and Paul Evitts remains on 2.
3 points, Vladimir Zhukov.
Heat 22, and we have in this Jorma Rema, Igor Yakovlev, Erkki Arko and Per-Olof Serenius. Serenius the top scorer out of this lot, 13 points, joint second. Rema's got 3 on the inside. Yakovlev's got 6, Arko's got 3. And Serenius predictably making the start. Second place is Yakovlev. Got to watch out for that Russian, fell twice on the Saturday night. Third, looks like just shading it in red, Jorma Rema with Erkki Arko at the back. I can tell you at the moment we've got a good number of Finns around us, so if you hear ecstatic cheering of Rema or Arko come through, you can know why that is.
Ja, wie knap werk hoor van de man uit Gurgely. 38 jaar volgende week.
Well, Serenius gradually getting caught up now by Igor Yakovlev. The ice really flying today. Got the commentary position right down by the fence and getting filled in. Don't think I'll have any worries about getting ice in the drink today. Serenius is labouring slightly here. He did have an illness after Leningrad, a stomach bug that laid him low. Swedes saying that Serenius lost a stone in weight in 1 week. Well, he's managed to hold on. Serenius wins Heat 22. Second place goes to the man in blue, Igor Yakovlev. Third place there, just on the line, to Erkki Arko. And Jorma Rema finishes in last place. Fairly academic though, those minor positions. Per-Olof Serenius keeps the pressure on Zhukov, moves on to 16, 2 adrift of the meeting leader. Second place there going to Igor Yakovlev, he moves on to 8. Erkki Arko's now on 4, and Jorma Rema is now still on 3. In Heat 23 we have an interesting battle here. Jan Sigurd, who shared second place in Serenius overnight, rides in red. He's got 13. Sergei Ivanov, the 4th place man, rides in yellow. We also have the 5th place man, Sergei Sokolov, riding in white. The full lineup across the grid. Jan Sigurd 13. Gerrit Rock in blue, he's got 7. In white, Sergei Sokolov, he's got 11. And in yellow, Sergei Ivanov, he's got 12. Well, it's Ivanov who has made the start off the outside gates, but the shorter run there for Sigurd paying off. Sigurd having to take Sokolov wide. This will put these 2 Russians level, and they're chasing the second of the 2 Russian places in the final. Sigurd having a strong challenge from Sokolov, won his last 3 rides last night. And Sokolov trying for the line on the outside. This is bad news for Ivanov. Russia's having their own private battle for 2 places in the final. As I said at the start, just 1 point separating Sokolov and Ivanov, and now that will be levelled. And if Sokolov can get the win here, he will in fact go a point ahead of his fellow countryman. Kierit Rook having disappointment of last place here. This will give Laron a 2-point lead for the 6th qualifying space. And Sigurd, of course, still challenging for second along with Serenius. Needs a win here to keep the flow going. Sigurd beaten only by Serenius and Zukov last night. The checkered flag is ready, and it's a win for Sigurd, just getting there. Second place in white, it was Sergei Sokolov. Third place in yellow, Sergei Ivanov, and fourth, Kierit Rook. All 4 of those riders then deeply involved in the qualification issue. Jan Sigurd now has 16, level with Posa Serenius. Sergei Sokolov now has 13, Sergei Ivanov now has 13. Those 2 locked together in the battle for that second Russian place. In heat 24, John Wormsley makes his first appearance of the afternoon, riding in blue. In this one with him, Colin Fastason in red, Yama Hivasoya in white, Alfred Nietzsche in yellow. Chance there for John maybe to pick up a point. Hivasoya looking for a win to keep well and truly in that top 5. So across the gate on the inside in red, Colin Fastason, he's got 7. In blue, John Wormsley, he's got 2. Hivasoya's in white on 10, and Nietzsche has 5 points. Hivasoya indeed getting into the turn first. Second in red, Colin Fastason. Third is John Wormsley, no, in fourth in fact. Nietzsche has the 3rd place. Well, Yama Hivasoya, 31 years of age, from Oulu in Finland. A lot of these Finnish ice races come from there. Challenging for second now, Alfred Nietzsche. He's going past Fastason, and the Swede can really forget about qualifying for the final. A long way behind his fellow 2 countries. Nietzsche going from 3rd for 1st now. Challenging Hivasoya all the way. And it's side by side going into the pit turn. Hivasoya just holding on, coming down the home straight. John Wormsley getting left by this pack now. Hivasoya showing his style out in front. Nietzsche coming alive now after a very disappointing opening night. Nietzsche, a very top racer German, but only 5 points on the first night's racing. Gets the 2nd place here in heat 24. Second place there, Alfred Nietzsche, he's now on 7. Connie Fastason just picking up 1 point, he's on 8, and John Wormsley fails to score. He remains on 2 points. And so as the riders return to the pits, the machinery will be coming out to scrape the excess ice off the surface, and there is plenty of that here at Assen. Let's take a look now at the overall points after 6 rides apiece. In first place on 18, Vladimir Zukov. Second place, still shared, the 2 Swedes, Per-Olof Serenius and Jan Sigurd on 16. Then we have, in equal 4th place, Sergei Sokolov, Sergei Ivanov, and Yamo Hivasoya. Well, only one of Sokolov or Ivanov would qualify. Hivasoya would also go through. Then we have quite a gap going down to the next qualifying place. That would be Haranu Laron on 9 points rather. Below him, Igor Yakolev, well out of things now on 8. Plenty of Russians ahead of him. And Kierit Rook dropping behind there with that tough heat 23, and also Alfred Nietzsche on 7. So Nietzsche coming back into the picture now. Unfortunate there, unintentional rhyme there. On 5 points we have Johan Last. On 4 points, Erkki Arko. Then we go down on 3, Yoma Rema, and then still stuck on 2 points, Paul Evitz, who hasn't scored now for 4 races, and also on to John Wormsley. Those are the positions then after 6 races apiece. In heat 25, we'll be seeing Sergei Sokolov trying to consolidate that position that he gained on his fellow Russian earlier on, and that, of course, was Sergei Ivanov in heat 23. Sokolov rides in yellow here in heat 25. On the inside in red, Alfred Nietzsche taking his 2nd successive ride. He's got 7 points. Hanu Laron rides in blue, he's got 9. Yoma Rema in white's got 3, and Sergei Sokolov in yellow's got 13. So 1 West German, 2 Finns, and the Russian here in heat 25. Referee Jürgen Deutsches of Denmark, not West Germany. Taking a while over the tapes there, and it's Sokolov who hits the front off the outside line. But he's getting a strong challenge from Nietzsche, and Nietzsche keeping the throttle wide open all the way. Having to throttle back, though, somewhat going into the 3rd turn as Sokolov started. In blue, it's Hanu Laron now, and 4th in white, Yoma Rema. Laurent Marc needing all the points he can get to keep Gerrit Rock out of a qualifying space. And Sokolov needing a win here to keep the pressure on Ivanov. Well, Sokolov really has come alive after two very disappointing first rides last night. 1 lap to go now. Sokolov, he won the, or rather finished second in the Tampere quarterfinal with 29 points, beaten by Vladimir Zhukov in a runoff, and showing the form now that took him that far in the middle stages of this competition. Sokolov wins, and indeed just getting through for the second place there. Hannu Laronmaa, 2 more vital points for the Finn, and he really is going well now. Sokolov wins, he's now got 16. Laronmaa picks up 2 points for 11. Third place Alfred Nitsche, he's now on 8, and Jorma last, he's now on 3. Vital race there for Nitsche, needing to pull some points up on Laronmaa, was 2 points behind the Finn, and it's Laronmaa's place that Nitsche's after. So disappointment there for the German, being beaten by the man he's got to pull the points back on. In heat 26, we have Jan Sigurd riding here in blue. 16 points is total. The other 3 riders, Johan Last in white on 5 and Erkki Arko in yellow on 4. So it should be an easy task for the Swedes. In fact, he's outscored all 3 of the other riders in this heat combined with room to spare as well. Sigurd needing a win to keep the pressure on Zhukov. Say virtually that 3 points there would virtually put Sigurd through to the world final, but it's Johan Last down in front. Short-lived though. Sigurd regaining his composure there after missing the start. Sigurd showing all his experience there. 35 years of age from Gothenburg. Jan Sigurd leads. Second in white, Johan Last. Third in yellow, we have Erkki Arko. And fourth in red, John Wormsley. And it really is becoming a very tough struggle for points for the English now. And John dropping further and further back in this one. But there's a race for second now. Arko moving up on the shoulder of Johan Last. The Dutchman having to battle for these points now as Arko hits the outside. Arko begins to find his form now. As he said in that interview earlier, he had an injury to his hand and it's been limiting his performance. Through the second now though. Sigurd is going to win this by a very convincing margin. Coming down the straight, Sigurd wins seat 26. Second place to Erkki Arko. Third place goes to the man in blue, in white rather, Johan Last. At the back, John Wormsley. Wormsley failing to score there, remains on 2. Sigurd is now on 19. Johan Last is on 6, and Erkki Arko levels it with Last on 6 points, but they're still a fair way off the last qualifying place, occupied at the moment by Hannu Laronmaa on 11 points. So Sigurd keeping the run going, and it looks near certain now that Jan Sigurd will be going through to that world final in Stockholm. We move on now to heat 27, and this one, well, they're all out of the picture at the moment, apart from Gerrit Rock in red. It badly needs a win to close the gap to 1 point on Hannu Laronmaa. He's got a good chance here. Rock rides in red from the Netherlands on 7 points. In blue, off gate 2, Connie Vastesen, he's got 8. In white is Igor Yakovlev, he's got 8. Paul Levitz rides in yellow, he's got 2. Vastesen and Yakovlev, well, they'll get caught out by the 2-rider per nation rule, and it's a bad start by Rock. I think the last thing Rock needs is a last place here. He goes past Evitz. But out in front is Vastesen and Yakovlev second. They may be ahead of Rock on points, but it is academic with the 2 Swedish and Russian positions already filled. Rock though through in the second now. He's got to get this win. Vastesen leads, Rock second, third is Yakovlev, and fourth is Paul Evitz. All eyes then on Gerrit Rock amongst this partisan Dutch crowd. Mind you, well filled out though with British supporters as well, coming here with Team Tours and other tour companies. 1 lap to go. Gerrit Rock looking for that gap on the inside, badly needs this. Oh, he's got problems, he could even lose the second. Well, Yakovlev seemed to hold back there as Rock nearly went into the fence. On the final turn, the gap is 2. Oh, he's gone down! The man in front there, Connie Vastesen went down, Rock wins. High drama there on the pit turn. Well, a marvellous result for the Dutch, but what crushing disappointment for Vastesen. Lost it completely on the pit turn. I think he's okay. The bike's on the track, the rider's gone through the bales, so at least he's been protected from the bike by the straw bales. Result of that then, Gerrit Rock wins the red. Vital win for him in remarkable circumstances. He closes the gap now on Hanno Laron-Mar to 1 point in the race for that last qualifying place. Rock has 10. Igor Yakovlev getting second now. He's on 10. As I say though, out of the picture with those two Russians ahead of him. Paul Levitz picks up another point to go on to 3 points, and Connie stays in the follow there. He remains on 8. Last race now in the 7th round of races, and this is the big one. Look at this lineup. On the inside in red, Vladimir Zhukov, meeting leader on 18. Gate 2 in blue, Per-Olof Serenius, he's got 16. In white it's Sergei Ivanov, and in yellow, Yarmir Hivasoya. Well, Ivanov has 13, so Hivasoya has 13. Zhukov's made the start. This is one of the strongest fields you are going to see in this series. Well, Serenius going through hard there on the inside of Ivanov. The Russian pulling up at the back of the field. That gives Sokolov now an outright lead over. Oh, Zhukov in trouble, and down goes Hivasoya almost. Serenius comes through. So Per-Olof Serenius set to become the first man to beat Vladimir Zhukov here, the world champion in trouble in heat 28. Zhukov looking for the outside, here comes Hivasoya now. Well, Zhukov looking rattled, the first time he's been headed all weekend. Hivasoya now going for that second place as well, 1 lap to go. Really sizing each other up for the world final, all three of them starting to go through. There goes Hivasoya, right on the outside. That's the form that gave him second place last year. Hivasoya leads, marvellous racing by the Finn. Off the turn, one of the finest ice races we've seen. Hivasoya first, Serenius second, and the world champion is third. Marvellous racing there. You won't see better on ice or shale. First place, Yarmir Hivasoya. Second, Per-Olof Serenius. Third place, the world champion, Vladimir Zhukov. Takes defeat for the first time. And Sergei Ivanov pulling up at the back. Bad news for him. That now gives Sokolov a clear lead over his fellow Russian in the fight for the second Russian qualifying place. Vladimir Zhukov now has 19. Serenius celebrates, Hivasoya celebrates. You might say that's a 5-1 to the west over the Russians. Hivasoya down the back straight. They're loving this. Two of the greatest showmen in ice racing, if not the greatest. Marvellous action there. It now means that Serenius closes the gap on Zhukov to 1 point. So he needed that win there. He would have tied it with the Russian. Sergei Ivanov remains on 13, and the qualifying place for him is now drifting away. He's 3 points behind his fellow Russian, and Hivasoya moves on to 16 with a brilliant win there in heat 28. Well, that marvellous heat 28 changes the picture entirely here at ASSEN. We now have a two-way tie for first place. Jan Sigurd of Sweden and Vladimir Zhukov on 19. Per-Olof Serenius now second, or rather third, on 18 points. Then we have below him Yarmir Hivasoya and Sergei Sokolov together on 16. Well below them we have on 13 Sergei Ivanov, losing ground now on Sokolov in that race for the second Soviet qualifying place. Down below Ivanov we have on 11 points Hanno Laron-Mar. He would take the 6th qualifying place. Then on 10, Gerrit Rock closing the gap on Laron-Mar to 1 point. Igor Yakovlev's also on 9. Then we have on 10 rather, on 8 we have Alfred Nitsche and Connie Stayson. On 6, Johan Last and Erkki Arko. On 3 points, Paul Levitz, and on 2, John Wormsley. And I missed out there, of course, Jorma Raymer on 3 points. That's the situation now after 7 races apiece, and looks like we're going to get a marvellous climax to this meeting here in ASSEN, with a two-way tie now for first place. Yes, the Russians can be beaten. Well, an important race coming up here in heat 29. Hivasoya's in this one again, but we also have Hanno Laron-Mar and Gerrit Rock, both battling it out for that 6th qualifying place. Laron-Mar on 11, Rock on 10. Laron-Mar takes gate 3 in white. The Rock will take gate 4 in yellow. On the inside in red, Erkki Arko. He has got 6 points. In blue, the man who's unbeaten today, Yarmir Hivasoya on 16. The main race goes between the men in white and yellow, Laron-Mar and Rock. Rock's been beaten into the turn. Arko's at the back, Hivasoya's away, and now Rock's separated by a fin from Laron-Mar. Interesting to see now if Arko does a bit of team riding to block out Gerrit Rock. This will give Laron-Mar a 3-point lead over the Dutchman and virtually rule Rock out of the world final. He needed to beat Laron-Mar here, really. Well, Arko now goes around the outside of Laron-Mar. He won't be doing his fellow Finn any favours at all if he does. 3 Finns in this one, and Hiva Sawyer out in front. This will be his 3rd win of the day. Second place, Laurent Mar. There goes Arco. He certainly doesn't seem to know about Laurent Mar's need for the points. Arco well out of the picture on only 6. And Gerrit Rock, very disappointing here for the Dutch at the back, and this will, as I say, put a 3-point margin between him and Laurent Mar, and that really is a lot to pick up in only 2 races for each rider to go. And in fact, that's the way it finishes. Jarmo Hiva Sawyer wins in blue. He's now on 19 points. Second place, Hannu Laurent Mar, he's now on 13. Third place, Erkki Arco, he's now on 7. Satisfying race there for the Finns in 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And Gerrit Rock last in yellow. He remains on 10. Well, that now means that, as I say, Laurent Mar's got a 3-point lead over Rock. And it looks now as if the Finns on his way to the world final. Jarmo Hiva Sawyer also on his way now. Now level with Zukov and Sigurd, but they both have races to come. Halfway stage coming up now of this 2nd day's racing here in Assen in this individual semi-final of the World Ice Racing Championship. In this we have Sergei Ivanov riding in red. He's desperately got to make up some points here after dropping points against his fellow Russian Sergei Sokolov earlier. A 3-point gap between him and the other Russian, and Ivanov would be the 3rd of the Russians, and that's not good enough. He's got to be in the top 2 Russians, irrespective of whether he's in the top 6. On the inside in red, Sergei Ivanov, he's got 13. In blue, Jorma Rema. In white, Colin Fastayson. In yellow, Johan Last. Well, Fastayson running into the tapes there. Rema in blue's got 3, Fastayson's got 8, and Last has got 6. All 3 of them out of the picture, and Ivanov will be unless he wins this. Well, he does the job, but coming around the outside, Johan Last. Last's good on the gate, but drifts away after that. Sergei Ivanov, the 24-year-old truck driver from Krasnoyarsk, brother of Yuri, who's already through to the world final, leads here in heat number 30. Coming in for 2nd place now, though, is Jorma Rema. Losing it now to Johan Last as the Dutchman came through on the inside. At the back in white, Colin Fastayson. Well, Ivanov doing the job he has to here in heat 30. He's got to hope that Sokolov drops some points. Sergei Ivanov, a world finalist here last year at Assen, finished in 6th place in the World Championship. 1 lap to go now. Ivanov leads quite a race for 2nd now between Rema and Johan Last. At the back, Fastayson, he's also in the picture. There goes Rema. There goes Fastayson as well, and suddenly Last is at the back. Fastayson now switching to the outside on the last bend. Man in blue, the man in red rather, Ivanov wins. 2nd in blue, just on the line, Jorma Rema. The Finns are delighted here. 3rd in white, it is Connie Fastayson. And 4th in yellow, Johan Last. Sergei Ivanov wins, he's now on 16 points. 2nd place goes there to Jorma Rema, he's now on 5. 3rd place going there to the man in white, Connie Fastayson, he's now on 9, and last, Johan Last. And he remains on 6 points. In heat 31 we have Sergei Sokolov riding in blue, Per-Olof Serenius rides in white. Serenius looking for a win here to keep that pressure going on his fellow countryman Sigurd, and also Zukov. On the inside in red, Paul Evitz, he's got 3 points. Sergei Sokolov in blue, he's got 16. Per-Olof Serenius has got 18, and John Wormsley on the outside in yellow, he's got 2. Well, Evitz skating well on the inside, and he almost leads her coming out of the turn. Going wide, they're drifting out of line and back into 3rd place. Sergei Sokolov leads. 2nd place, Per-Olof Serenius, but problems there on the pit turn. And Serenius is through. Sokolov looking for that outside line, so favoured by the Russians. This will be good news for Ivanov. Close the gap. It's 2 points between him and Sokolov. The Russian hits the outside now. Serenius having quite a battle to hold out the flying Russian here. Sergei Sokolov in 2nd place, and the 2 Brits have gone down at the back. It's at the back of the field. Down have gone Wormsley and Evitz. The race is continuing. The red lights aren't on, and they're still on the track. And indeed, the red lights go on, but a bit late. Oh, he's hit the bike! Well, that is a prime example of why the red lights should go on as soon as riders go into the fence. The red lights took an age to come on, and Sokolov went straight into that British bike. Well, Sokolov's okay. Very, very lucky there not to escape, or lucky to escape serious injury. And the British bike also taking quite a battering. Paul Evans and John Walmsley picking themselves up. They're okay. Fell at the back there into the bales. It certainly has been a tale of woe over the weekend here for the British. And if that bike's been wrecked as well, the British team runs on a pretty tight budget, backed up very heavily by HL1 Lubricants and also Reg Thomas and Shane Harty. Well, we do have 3 riders in the restart of Heat 31. Sergei Sokolov, Per-Olof Serenius and John Walmsley. Well, not only did the referee leave those lights late, he's also changed his mind. The full lineup then once more across the grid on the inside. No rider off, obviously, on gate 1. Sergei Sokolov on 2, Serenius off 3, and Walmsley off 4. Well, Serenius has done it again now over Sokolov. Walmsley's up there as well. He's obviously charged up. Problems on that second turn. And just back into 3rd place. Walmsley well and truly keyed up there. Serenius leads, Sokolov second. Now the Russian Merc goes up on the outside line. Serenius, though, gets speed coming out of the turn. Will Sokolov make another move now on the pit bend? He knows a win here would virtually put him through to the world final. It means that he would only need 3 points from his last 2 rides to qualify. And that would be if Ivanov were to win both of his 2. As this second place would give Ivanov fresh hope. 1 lap to go. Sergei Sokolov on his debut meeting here in Assen. Second in that Tampere quarter-final, but he's going to miss out here. Serenius holds on, it's tight at the end, but Serenius wins. Second is Sokolov, and 3rd is John Walmsley. Well, Sergei Sokolov is now on 18. Serenius goes for another wheelie. It'd be fascinating to see him taking on, say, Sam Ermolenko, the American rider in a wheelie contest. One on maybe a session on a speedway bike, a session on an ice bike. Anyway, Serenius showing that the Swedes aren't all deadpan, as seems to be the impression sometimes gained in England. But Serenius certainly showing plenty of personality there. Winning Heat 31, he's now on 21 points. Sergei Sokolov on 18. Paul Evans is on 3, and John Walmsley's also on 3. The last race before the interval here, Heat 32, brings together Vladimir Zhukov and Jan Sigurd. Well, the Russian and the Swede tying at the top of the score chart. Zhukov has the advantage of an inside gate position compared to Sigurd. The lineup on the inside in red, Igor Yakolev from the Soviet Union on 10 points. Gate 2 in blue, Vladimir Zhukov on 19. Gate 3 in white, Alfred Nitscher on 8. Gate 4 in yellow and black, Jan Sigurd. He's got 19 as well. Well, this will almost certainly determine the winner of this semi-final. Zhukov makes the start, and Sigurd's going to have to come from 4th place. And I think that's Sigurd's chance gone. He missed the gate there completely. He's at the back here in Heat 32. Vladimir Zhukov leads. 2nd place, Alfred Nitscher. 3rd place now is Sigurd. At the back in red, Igor Yakovlev. Well, this will now give Per-Olof Serenius 2nd place. Sigurd would move into 3rd, and Zhukov would re-establish himself as outright 1st place man. Oh, problems there. Oh, really spectacular. He's going to get away from the wheel, though. Well, slow motion stuff there from Alfred Nitscher. Let's see how long. Yes, the red light's gone straight away this time. Nitscher's over the bales. The bike's in the middle of the track, though. No track staff in sight. The red light goes on, and the race has stopped. It'll be a rerun with 3 riders only. The white exclusion light still hasn't been shown, but Alfred Nitscher almost certainly will be out. Yes, the light goes on. Alfred Nitscher excluded. That's a very graceful fall, he must admit. Well, he must have been terrified when the bike kept running. You can imagine if one of those goes over you with 300 spikes, you'll soon know about it. So Alfred Nitscher limps away, lucky there to escape injury. And is excluded from the restart of Heat 32. Well, everything's happening now here at Assen. 3 riders come back to the start in Heat 32. Igor Yakolev rides in red off gate 1. Vladimir Zhukov off gate 2 in blue. And gate 4 in yellow, Jan Sigurd. Can Sigurd get it right this time? Well, he hasn't got anyone between him and Zhukov now. He's got plenty of room to maneuver. But the Russian again showing superb starting. Away goes Zhukov. Second place in red, it's Igor Yakovlev. At the back in third, it's Jan Sigurd. And Sigurd really missing out at the start. Really though, this is shadow boxing after all. It's next week when the main event happens. These guys almost certainly, well, definitely through to the world final now. And it's next week when the real effort has to come out. That's when Zhukov becomes a marked man in Stockholm as the Swedes try to take him on en masse. Coming through for second place, Jan Sigurd. Edging out Yakovlev there. This will keep him in joint second with Olaf Serenius. But it's going to give an outright lead now once more to Vladimir Zhukov. All riders will have 2 rides to go after this. Well, I think Zhukov now has done all he needs to win this championship. The semi-final here in Assen. The win then in blue for Vladimir Zhukov. He has 22 points. Second place Jan Sigurd, he has 21. And third place Igor Yakovlev, he has 11. Nietzsche remains on 8. So that's 12 heats gone on the second day now, 32 heats all in all, and all the riders have had 8 starts.
Vladimir Zhukov, 2 punten voor Jan Sigurd en 1 punt voor Igor Yakovlev. Dat is de opening van
and the points now with 8 races to go here in Assen. The outright leader Vladimir Zhukov on 22. Joint second once more Per-Olof Serenius and Jan Sigurd on 21. Then we have in fourth place on 19 Jarmo Hivasoy, unbeaten today, 3 wins out of 3. Behind him on 18 Sergei Sokolov. All of those will qualify at the present time. On 16 points then we have Sergei Ivanov. He's out of the picture though, and the 6th qualifying place would go to Hannu Laronma on 13 points. Behind him on 11 we have Igor Yakovlev. Then a fair way down, well, we're beginning to drop down into lower order now, Gerrit Rok on 10. Then we have on 9 Conny Fastesen, on 8 Alfred Nietzsche, on 7 Erkki Jaakko, on 6 Johan Last. And then we drop down into 5 Jorma Rehmer, 3 John Walmsley and Paul Evitts. So that's the situation now with 8 races to go here in Assen.
It really is. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool language. It is, yeah.
Nou, dan gaan we dan weer. Heat nummer 33, Laron Ivanov.
Heat 33, getting back to the action now. Hannu Laronma rides in red, he's got 13. Sergei Ivanov rides in blue, he's got 16. John Worms is in white, he's got 3. Igor Yakovlev is in yellow, he's got 11. Well, Ivanov needs all the points he can get. 2 points behind his fellow Russian. Oh, 4 there, going down in red, it's Laronma. Well, Laronma needs about 3 points to qualify for the world final. And terrible news there for him falling, that gives Rok a chance now. Of course, Laronma is injured. Well, the terrible blow, obviously, for his world final chances. He's holding that 6th qualifying place, but goes down on that second turn, waiting for an exclusion light to show. One isn't showing at the moment. That usually is the cue for referee Dorschers to hit the button. He hasn't yet. Well, they're getting the bike out. And Laronma is excluded. It's just come through over the PA. Laronma excluded from Heat 33. That gives Rok a chance now to pull the points back. He comes out in the race after this. Well, 3 riders in the restart of Heat 33. We have Sergei Ivanov in blue, John Wormsley in white, and Igor Yakovlev in yellow. Ivanov on 16, Wormsley on 3, Yakovlev on the 11 points. So away they go. Ivanov hits the front. And we've got John Wormsley pulling up there while second. So disappointment with John's machine that he has christened John Boy, pulling off at the back, but he's got it going again. A long way behind, half a lap behind the leader now, Sergei Ivanov. Well, Ivanov could easily become victim of the 2-rider penation rule. He is actually in a qualifying space or place if you didn't have that rule, but with Sokolov and Zhukov ahead of him, Ivanov would go out. So Ivanov does have to overhaul Sokolov. That man has 18. Ivanov here with the win will put the pressure on. Sokolov would then need 2 points to regain his position from Heat 36. And he's up against Zukov in that one. So Ivanov trying to edge back into the picture now with a win here in heat 33, coming in down the home straight. It's a win for Sergei Ivanov. Second place, Igor Yakovlev. Ivanov's now on 19, Yakovlev's now on 13, and John Wormsley now moves up to 4 points. So Ivanov closing the gap now on Sokolov. Haranu Laranma, though, having problems. He's got a tough last ride, and if Gerrit Rock can get to a couple of second places for his last two rides, Laranma could be edged out to the final qualifying position. In heat 34, we have the first appearance of one of the reserves here, Waldemar Möbus, replacing his fellow German Alfred Nietzsche. He rides in blue off gate 2. On the inside in red, Johan Last, he's got 6. Möbus then in blue. Gerrit Rock in white, he's on 10. Per-Ola Serenius in yellow on 21. Well, Rock needs some points here. If he can get a second place, it might just get him up there. Oh, Last goes down on the turn. Well, he was in front of Rock there, and that's not what the Dutch needed. Last going down, struggling to regain his feet, gets back on the bike. Another common sight, nice racing to see someone remounting, but Last does it there. Well, Serenius leads, Rock is second, that will put him on 12, just one behind Laranma, with one rider piece to go. At the back, or in third place, we've got Waldemar Möbus a long way behind the rest of the field, with Last even further back. Well, Serenius winning quite comfortably here in heat 34. Put him on 24 points, one ride to go, and put him 2 ahead of Zukov. Zukov's got easy rides, though, in his last 2. Only real opposition Zukov's likely to meet is Sokolov in heat 36. Serenius on his way to the world final. Already 3 Swedes have qualified. Tommy Lindgren, Eskil Jonsson and Erik Stenlund. Sigurd is on his way. Serenius is there as well. And in fact, he wasn't far off there. Gerrit Rock in second place. Serenius wins. Rock second. Third place in blue, Waldemar Möbus, and fourth in red, Johan Last. Last remains on 6. Möbus picks up his first point. Nietzsche, though, who he replaced there, remains on 8. Rock moves on to 12, and Serenius on to 24. Heat 35 coming to the tapes now. Jarmo Hiversoja rides in red. He's got 19 points. Gate 2 in blue, Paul Evitz, he's on 3. At the bottom of the score charts at the moment, riding in white, Jan Sigurd, he's got 21. And on the outside in yellow, Jorma Reimer, he is on 5. Well, Hiversoja and Sigurd together here. And it's the Finn who gets the gate. Sigurd settling in for second place, looks for the gap on the inside. Hiversoja so far unbeaten today. Only points Hiversoja dropped well last night. He dropped 5 of them. He's not dropped any today. Going wide though, and Sigurd has got the gap. Third in yellow, it is Jorma Reimer at the back, Paul Evitz. Fascinating race from first and second now between Sigurd and Hiversoja. The Swede on the inside, the Finn on the outside. Sigurd now breaking through to inflict Hiversoja's first defeat of the afternoon. Well, Sigurd keeping the pressure on Zukov. This will put him level with Per-Ola Serenius on 24. Zukov with one ride to come in this ninth round of races, and Zukov on 22 currently. Well, the checkered flag comes out. It's a win for Jan Sigurd. Well won there over Jarmo Hiversoja. Hiversoja's first defeat of the day. Third in yellow, Jorma Reimer. At the back, Paul Evitz. Hiversoja is now on 21. Evitz is on 3. Sigurd on 24, and Jorma Reimer on 6. So Hiversoja now guaranteed a place in that world final. And just one race remaining now in the ninth round of races, and that brings together Sergei Sokolov and Vladimir Zukov. And Zukov needing 3 points to regain the lead. And those riders come up to the start now in heat 36. Sergei Sokolov on the inside in red, gate 2 in blue. Erkki Arko, Sokolov on 18, Arko on 7. Gate 3 in white, Vladimir Zukov on 22. And in yellow, it's Conny Verstappen on 9. Sokolov needing 2 points to overhaul Sergei Ivanov, and it is Zukov who's made the start. Sokolov slots in the second place. Third in yellow fast station at the back, Erkki Arko. Arko just not showing any of that form that we saw last weekend in Leningrad. So Zhukov will regain the lead, and Sokolov will regain the second Russian position over Sergei Ivanov here. Still everything in the race for there in that closing round. Zhukov looking very cool and calm now after getting very ruffled against Hivasoya and Serenius when he was relegated to the third place. The ice very, very rough here at Assen, but not affecting the racing quite as much as it did last night. Obviously a considerable amount warmer. I'd say we're over the zero mark, well over the zero mark at the moment. Oh, problems there for Arko. Gets through into third and then hits trouble. Just blocks out Fastason there. Possible argument for an exclusion for unfair riding, impeding the rider behind. So winning white for Vladimir Zhukov. Very tight for the third. Second place in red, it was Sergei Sokolov. And third place, it was Erkki Arko. Sokolov now has 20 points. Erkki Arko has 8. Zhukov has 25. And Connie Fastason, failing to score there, has 9. In first place, we have the world champion Vladimir Zhukov on 25. In second joint, we have Per-Olof Serenius and Jan Sigurd on 24. In fourth place, then, we have on 21 points Jaromir Hivasoya. Then we have in fifth Sergei Sokolov on 20. Well, then the sixth place man would not qualify, Sergei Ivanov on 19, but he's got to overhaul Sokolov to get through. Then we go down onto 13 points for the sixth qualifier, Hanu Laronmar. That's on current positions. He's on with Igor Yakovlev, but Yakovlev falls foul of that two-rider rule as well. On 12, just 1 point behind the Finn, Gerrit Rock. Then we have a fair gap down to the man on 9 points, Connie Fastason. On 8 points, Alfred Nitscher. On 8 as well, rather, Erkki Arko. On 6, Jorma Rehmer. On 6 also, Johan Last. On 4, John Walmsley. And on 3, bringing up the rear, Paul Evitts. So that's it with one race to go for each of those riders. Still a lot to race for between Ivanov and Sokolov. Zhukov only 1 point ahead of the two Swedes. And Laronmar only 1 point away from Gerrit Rock. Everything still to race for in the last 4 heats. Heat 37, Vladimir Zhukov comes out in yellow looking for a win here to win this semi-final. The lineup on the inside in red, Jorma Rehmer, he is on 6, out of the World Championship. Riding in blue, John Walmsley on 4, he is out. Riding in white, Gerrit Rock needs the points here. Really looking for a second place. I'm sure he wouldn't even expect to win against the World Champion, but the second may well put too much pressure on the Finn. Well, Zhukov is gone. Rehmer knowing he's got to ride for Laronmar, his teammate here. But Rehmer back in third, Rock is second. With Rock holds on to the second, Laronmar would need a second in his final ride to qualify. So Rock could well make it after all here in Assen. Last year, Christian Rake qualified for the final as a seeded Dutchman. This year, Gerrit Rock may well qualify on merit. It is Zhukov out in front, Rock second, third in red, Jorma Rehmer at the back, John Walmsley, and now Rock in trouble, there goes Rehmer. Oh, Rehmer riding for his fellow Finn. If he can defeat Rock here, it will give Laronmar extra hope. 1 lap to go now. Laronmar will be breathing a sigh of relief because Rehmer's through, Rock is in third. And this could put Laronmar through. Of course, it's still in the Finn's hands in his last ride. Rehmer through to second place. That's the way it finishes. Zhukov wins the semi-final. Zhukov wins with 28 points. Second place there going to Jorma Rehmer. He finishes on 8. Third place to Gerrit Rock. He's now on 13. And John Walmsley remains on 4 points. Riders coming out now for heat 38. Vital one in this for Sergei Sokolov in blue. A win here would put him through to the world final. On the inside in red, Igor Yakovlev, he's out on 13. Sergei Sokolov, as I say, needs a win to qualify on 20. In white, Johan Last on 6. He's out. The Jaromir Hivasoya is through on 21, but could do with a win here to get into that top bracket. We'll send an outside chance for a place on the rostrum. Well, there he goes around the outside. Hivasoya overhauling Sokolov. This gives Ivanov fresh hope. Ivanov would then need to win his last ride to force a runoff with his fellow Russian. So Sokolov with plenty at stake here, going on the inside of Hivasoya. Hivasoya, the Finn leads. Sokolov is second. Third place In red, it is Yakovlev. At the back, it is Johan Last. Well, Hiversoy is certainly making the Russians fight amongst themselves now. Hiversoy right down on the knee. They're going round the turn. One of the most spectacular races in ice speedway when he really gets going. 1 lap to go. So the Finnish number 1 leads here in the 38. But no, he's got problems now from Sokolov. The Russian looking for that win to qualify for Stockholm. Still may be enough. The checkered flag's out in the race to the line, and the Finns there. Hiversoy wins. So competition still wide open for that second Soviet space in the world final. Hiversoy wins. He finishes with 24 points. Virtually assures him of 4th place. May even get higher if Serenius or Sigurd failed to score in the last ride. Sokolov takes 2nd place. He finishes with 22. That can be equal by Ivanov. Yakovlev finishes on 14. He's out. And Johan Last finishes on 6. Paul Evitz rides in red, his last appearance of the World Championship. But for this year, he's on 3 points. Stands an outside chance of getting a point here. Hilbert Tell replaces Alfred Nitscher in white, and Erkki Arko rides in yellow. So Paul Evitz has 3 on the inside gate. Sergei Ivanov has 19 off gate 2. Hilbert Tell making his first appearance of the competition in white, and in yellow, Erkki Arko, he has 8 points. So on the face of it, an easy run for Ivanov. Paul Evitz again getting out of the gate first. Beaten on the run into the bend though. Lies 2nd here. He's not scored anything more than 1 point in the race. A chance for Paul here to get a couple and put John Wormsley on the bottom of the score chart. Disappointing weekend obviously for the British. Catched by that crash between the pair of them earlier on, Wormsley and Evitz. Evitz now relegated to 3rd by Erkki Arko. Arko very much the rising star of Finnish ice speedway. But it looks like Ivanov is going to make it. We could end up with several runoffs here. If Laronma fails to score in heat 40, we could have a runoff for that qualifying place between him and Rook. We could have a runoff between Ivanov and Sokolov, although Arko's coming up now. He did manage to beat Afanasyev out in Leningrad last weekend in the World Team Final. So it's not unknown for Arko to come up and beat the Russian. Ivanov, of course, would be sick if that happened. He's got to get this win now, Ivanov. The man in blue off the turn. Checkered flag is out, Ivanov wins. And that ties it between him and Sokolov for the 2nd Russian qualifying place. 2nd place, Erkki Arko rather. 3rd in red, Paul Evitz, and last, Hilbert Tell. Well, a couple of questions to be answered here in heat 40. Will Hannu Laronma qualify? Needs 1 point to do that. He rides in yellow. Olaf Serenius rides in red. Jan Sigurd in white. They're locked together on 24. So the 2nd place to be disputed here in the final race. Conny Verstaesen rides in blue. So 3 Swedes and a Finn here in heat 40. Serenius in red, Verstaesen in blue, Sigurd in white, Laronma in yellow. Well, Verstaesen has got the 3rd place, but there goes Laronma around the outside. This is enough to put the Finn in the world final and put Gerrit Rook out. He wouldn't even be reserved because there's no reserve qualifying from this meeting. The reserves have already been decided from the other 2 semi-finals. Well, it's Serenius who leads. Sigurd is 2nd. This will give Serenius 2nd place overall and Sigurd 3rd. The Swedes taking it fairly easily, both comfortably through to the world final. It's making a total of 5 Swedes in the Stockholm World Final next weekend. We've already got Lindgren, Jonsson and Stenlund. Now we're going to have Sigurd and Serenius. 1 lap to go. Serenius having problems though. Sigurd might capitalise. No, Sigurd holding on. Laronma is still steady in 3rd place. Laronma needs that 3rd place to go through. Looks like he's going to get it. Checkered flag comes out. It's a win. Oh, just on the line for Serenius. 2nd place, Jan Sigurd. 3rd place, Hannu Laronma. The Finn qualifies for the world final. Conny Verstaesen finishes last there. So Serenius finishes with 27 in 2nd place. Jan Sigurd finishes with 26. Laronma with 14. And Conny Verstaesen with 9 points. Well, the first three are coming out now to receive their honours on the infield. Vladimir Zhukov then wins here in Assen, and the Russians do tend to have quite a record here at this Dutch track. Several wins over the years. Second place for Petr Serenius and third for Jan Sigurd. But before I think they get their presentation, we do have an extra race. It's the runoff for the qualifying place between Sergei Ivanov and Sergei Sokolov. These two riders joint fifth at the current time, and only one of them can qualify, because Zhukov obviously has one of the two places that the Russians can get. And Ivanov, well, I presume riding red. No, indeed, it's Ivanov in blue. They've reversed it. They normally do it according to the numbers. Ivanov with the lower number would normally take red, but he's taken blue here. Sergei Sokolov, oh, indeed, they've made it yellow. God. Oh, normally you would see red and white, but it's Ivanov in blue, Sokolov in yellow. And Ivanov makes the start. Sokolov, who did so much work to come back from a disappointing start on the Saturday, now, well, he's now going to lose out on a place in the world final. And he won't even get a reserve berth. It's Sergei Ivanov who leads, 6th in the world last year. Sokolov, well, he didn't get too far last season. He went out, in fact, I don't have any record of him in the World Championship last year. Could have gone out in the quarterfinal stage. Sokolov closing in now, though. Ivanov seeming to relax there slightly.
Sergei Ivanov. We gaan zo meteen aan de laatste ronde beginnen. Nu
one lap to go.
Wel een poging worden van Sergei Sokolov.
Looks like Ivanov's going to hold him off. Sokolov heading for that outside line. They're trying to build the speed up. Sergei Ivanov, the 24-year-old truck driver from Krasnoyarsk, against Sergei Sokolov. And it's Ivanov who's going to make it. He qualifies for Stockholm. Sokolov is out after all that. Ivanov comes back after being behind all the way through the second day to take the final qualifying place here at Assen. Well, let's take a look now at those complete scores at the end of a fascinating semi-final here in Assen. In first place, Vladimir Zhukov, 15 and 13 for 28. In second place, Petr Serenius, 27. In third place there, we have Jan Sigurd, scoring 13 on both days for 26. In fourth place, Jaromir Heversoya, 10 and 14 for 24, beaten only once on the Sunday. Fifth place, Sergei Ivanov, 12 and 10 for 22, winning that runoff. In sixth, the non-qualifier, Sergei Sokolov, 11 and 11 for 22. In seventh place, another non-qualifier, Igor Yakovlev, on 14 points. Then in eighth, the final qualifier, because of the two-rider per nation rule, Hannu Laronna, scoring 14 points there, 7 on both days. In ninth place, just missing out, Gerrit Rock on 13. In 10th place, Elke Jarko with 10. In 11th place, Connie Vastesen with 9. In 12th place, we had Jorma Remer with 8. In 13th, Alfred Nitscher with 8. In 14th, Johan Last with 6th rather. And in equal 15th, John Walmsley and Paul